So what the Lord said to me, He said, Jim, this is going to be done Jesus style. This is going to be done by discipleship. You see, there's one-on-one discipleship, but there's also another type of discipleship. And like kinds birth like kinds. So it's each regional that will birth new regionals. This was the next step that I felt the Lord showed me. And I'll use Angola as an example. That somebody comes knocking on the door. Hey, Carla, we need this in Coldwater. When you coming? And then somebody from Angola or Fort Wayne, Goshen, we need this. When you coming? And what the Lord showed me could happen is you could end up with 4 regional meetings happening within a 30 to 40 minute drive. On maybe the first Sunday night of the month, you got one here. On the second Sunday night, you got one in Goshen. On the third, you got one in Fort Wayne. And on the fourth one, you got one up in Coldwater. So now, instead of having one equipping station in a couple of county region, now you've got 4 equipping stations. And all 4 of them are working together. You've got 4 times the pulpit opportunities to raise up and train fivefold ministers. And then those 4 regions can start working together to do community outreaches, to go out and do things in the community. And then what happens, and it won't take very long, we've only been coming here for 9 or 10 months. And so after these are birthed in Coldwater and Fort Wayne and Goshen, then somebody comes knocking on the door in Fort Wayne. They're across the line into Ohio. Hey, you need to bring that here. Coldwater gets a knock on the door a little further up in the state. You need to bring that here. So what the Lord showed me was, we're still got a part in this, but we've got to release a lot of it to the local leaders and let them do what we've taught them to do, and let them make a mistake if they make a mistake. But don't squeeze the life out of them. Let God use them. Let God work through them. And so our part will be, Coldwater comes knocking. Carla says yes. She says, Jim and Carla, we're going to do the vision casting service in Coldwater. Can you be there? Yes, we can. So Carla and I come in, we bring the team, we cast the vision, we bring all the necessities. And then it's time for meeting 2, and Carla says, okay, y'all, we've been pouring into you. We're going to take 5 of you, you're going to be our speakers, and we're going to go up there and we're going to do As You Go Love. And then we're going to go back next month and do As You Go Pray with someone. And then we're going to go back next month and do As You Go do Acts of Kindness. And then Jim and Carla are going to come back right in the middle. And they're going to teach about how to develop a real-life storybook for that city and region. And then you all are going to do meetings 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to come back for the release service to release it into the hands of the local leaders to do what God's called them to do. The unknown soldiers are going to arise. I shared this vision with a well-known apostle in North Carolina, one that I believe is a true, humble apostle. And he wrote back to me this: it is important to multiply in this way. What is set in motion today by God's leading will continue under His care through others. Do we believe we have a big enough God to do that? Amen. I believe it. I believe it to the point that I'm willing to release whatever He tells me to release, whenever He tells me to release it. I want to read to you a definition of apostolic grace that was written by a friend of mine. Apostolic grace lifts other graces to greater effectiveness and fruitfulness by helping them to find their place and their distinctive roles in God's order. We've all got a place. We've all got a role to play. Regional unity gatherings comes under this apostolic grace to help others, to lift them to their place of effectiveness and fruitfulness. Tonight, when we lay our hands upon you, you come under that apostolic grace to lift others to their effectiveness and fruitfulness. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. It matters that you are doing consistently what God is calling you to do. Carla and I have always been part of the local church and have always been connected to the local church. But we have seen more fruit in ministry in the last 3 years since the birthing of regional unity gatherings than we saw in 20 entire years of ministry working exclusively with the local church. We have discipled, poured into, mentored more people in the last 3 years than the first 20 years of ministry. Why is this effective? Because this is Jesus style. These aren't huge meetings. We're not filling stadiums. But people don't get equipped in huge meetings. People don't get equipped in meetings with 500 people. People get equipped in meetings where there's 50, maybe 100. And then you've got another pocket that's spring up in Coldwater with 50 or 100, and another pocket over in Fort Wayne, and another pocket over here, and they birth others, and others birth others, and others birth others. And all of a sudden, you've got hundreds of people who are living witnessing lifestyles. That's what it's all about. That's what we release into you tonight. That's what we release into this region tonight. I'm going to be the first to tell you that everybody isn't going to want this. But God is going to bring those that do, those that have a hunger for God's plan and God's order, those who have a real passion for Jesus and love people. He's going to bring them to you so you can pour into them the same way Carla and I have been pouring into people for the last 3 years. Has it been easy doing this? No, it hasn't been easy, but it has been worth it. It has been worth it to hear Eddie up here tonight talking, to hear Tally talking, to hear from Pastor John how this has helped him. It's worth it. You will be, if you will catch this, if you will catch this and be consistent with this, the most fruitful years of ministry are ahead of you. You will bear much fruit for the kingdom. And so as all of this is unfolding, a couple of people in a couple of the regions say to me, Jim, you need to do something else here in Indiana. You need to do some kind of a gathering where you bring together people from all of the regions. I'll be honest with you. My flesh said, no. I'm tired. But God said, yes. So in September, on the 30th of September, there's an international gathering being hosted in Avon, Indiana. We've already got people registered from 6 nations and 22 states. And they're coming to catch this vision, to carry it back to their cities, their states, and their countries. I had a lady on the phone day before yesterday from Atlanta, Georgia. She said, Jim, I've been following this with your emails. I will be at that conference. We need to schedule so that you can come here to Atlanta, Georgia. Our area needs this. This is needed everywhere. We've got to get the church beyond the walls. We've got to get the church working in unity. And we've got to teach the people of God how to lead a witnessing lifestyle 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wherever it is that God has placed them. And He has given us the tools to make this happen. You heard from some people tonight. It's happening. It's working. And so on September 30th and October 1st, when people show up from various places of the world, we are going to demonstrate God's order and government. On Friday night, normally when we did a gathering like this, they would hear from the shofar man, because the subject was the shofar. And I thought, who better to teach on the shofar than the shofar man? And God said, not this time, son. What do you mean, God? Not this time. I said, God, if I don't teach it, who's going to teach it, God? Those that you've trained. Those that I've trained. And then He put a couple of names in my mind, and I started to contact them. And I was amazed when the man who lives in Kenya said, I'll be there. And the lady who lives in Canada said, I'll be there. And the lady in North Carolina said, I'll be there. And the man in California said, I'll be there. And then the man in China said, I'll be there. And I said, but nobody's getting paid. We'll be there. So on that opening night, there'll be 6 different speakers teaching on the topic of the shofar and how to take it into the city and use it as a tool to reach lost souls for Jesus. And then on the next 3 sessions on Saturday, there'll be either 5, 6, or 7 speakers, and every one of those sessions interlaced with popcorn testimonies, shofar sounding, flags, banners, dance, you name it. It's going to be the fullness of what God has given us and the fullness of His government and order. I ask you to prayerfully consider being there. This is an open invitation to everybody. But I will tell you this. The building will only hold 280 people, and we've already got 135 registered. So if you're going to register, register early. Be there. Invite other people. Invite other people from the region. The dance ministry is going to come now. They're going to dance unto the Lord. Right after the dance ministry, we're going to receive an offering. And right after the offering, we're going to go into worship. But I want everybody to anticipate what God wants to do as we move from the worship to that place of laying hands on the local leaders. Anticipate, as it's said in the Word of God, where the Spirit of the Lord is going to come upon you. And the same anointing that is upon our lives will rest on your lives. And God will use you to carry that to others.